All right, call the Marshall County Board of Supervisors regular session, February 11th, 2026 to order. Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You're requested to approach the podium right over here. Use the microphone for our recording. State your name and address for the record and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chair to read the item from the agenda. The board is then given an opportunity to comment on the issue and/or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call will follow. Start with a roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Present.
Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you everybody for being here today. We finally got this chair refilled, so we're glad to have Christian Goodman here joining us, and thank you for participating in the process and to the appointment committee for their diligence with the 8 interviews they did and the selection of Christian. We know that you're going to do a great job, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks, Jared. You want me to say?
You can say whatever you want.
I just got a few words here. I want to start by thanking the appointment committee for taking the time and the care, and they put a lot of thought into the process. And I'm thankful for my friends and family who've supported me and encouraged me to pursue this. And I'm honored to be here as well. And I'm genuinely excited to learn about this position and to meet the department heads, and there's going to be a lot of work up front here for me, and I understand that I don't come in here knowing everything, and I'm willing to learn and to listen, and I come with an open mind, and I just ask for a little bit of patience as I kind of come up to speed on some things, and I understand that I'm going to take this seriously. It's a big responsibility. And I understand that, and I think it's the last thing is I just want to thank the community as a whole for the kindness and support that everybody's shown my family since my father's passing, and it's meant more to us than I can express in words. And we live in we're blessed to have such a wonderful community here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be sitting here.
Thank you.
Great. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Christian. Thank you for saying yes to service. And I think it's important to note that we really miss your dad. We really miss your dad, and we're glad that you're willing to serve. And I'm excited for what we can do moving forward. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand the process was rigorous and that you rose to the top. So,
yeah. If I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it halfway,
Yeah. So we appreciate your willingness to serve.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We'll move to the agenda. We have a quick amendment, I think.
Yes, I would make a motion to amend the agenda. We will add an item 6B. So after 6A, we'll do 6B, and Bobby Schomo will present some information. We'll have discussion and follow up on our workers' comp insurance. So I would propose that we add that.
Yeah, I'll
6B.
I'll second the motion.
All right. We have a motion and a second on adding 6B to the agenda. And let's just do that amendment with the agenda approved as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Present.
All right. On to consent agenda. 5A, approve previous regular session minutes, January 28th, 2026. Approve claims as audited, and authorize the auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listing of the claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid at the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. Personnel changes, status change, Dylan Ganaway, Sheriff's Office, Jail Officer to Supervisor, $27.74 per hour, effective February 15th, 2026. And appointments for the Board of Adjustment, appoint Daniel McGinnis to the Board of Adjustment for the remainder of Ramona Kilborn's term from January 1st, 2025 through December 31, 2029. Final manure management plans, Marshall Ridge Farms LLC, 60101 at 1131A, 245th Street, State Center, signed with changes. Ager Farms number 56995 at 2124 Eastman Avenue, State Center, signed with changes. And that is the end of the consent agenda.
I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please. Oh, did you have a?
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Lieutenant Wendell Millives with Marshall County Sheriff's Office. Just kind of want to explain the process for moving Jailer Ganaway up to the supervisor's position. We had an open position, so we sent an email out to staff, anybody interested in that position, put in a letter to our jail administrator. We received 2 letters. After that, both individuals went through a national testing. It's correction-based testing for supervisors' positions. And then after that process, they both passed the test with scores high enough to move up to sergeant, which was the open position. We had an interview panel. It consisted of jail administration plus 2 other sergeants that we have in-house, and then 1 sergeant from Dallas County Jail and 1 sergeant from the Story County Jail. After that process, from the interview process, they were asked to score each individual, rate them 1 to 10. So after that was all done, it was based on their scores on their tests, their interviews, work attendance, stuff like that. They were rated, and Dylan came out with the promotion. So
Great.
It's wonderful, yeah.
Well, thanks for that explanation.
Yeah.
Any further discussion, questions, clarifications? We do have that motion in the second. Roll call, please.
Kyle,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
All right, number 6, discussion on county-city collaboration. We have
Mike Ladahoff,
we
our
have the mayor
here
of
at
Marshalltown here. Wow.
Mike Lottehoff, 407 North 15th Avenue, Marshalltown, Iowa. In the city-county collaboration, we're going to have a really big project with the EMS coming up. And it's what the public will see as far as collaboration. I know in the past that everybody's kind of had their own kingdom, all right? But we don't anymore, even though I'm standing in a building that looks like a castle. But I don't think what people realize is how much we lean on each other for different things. And that's what the taxpayers should expect. Everyone should expect that. Recently, we had an event happen that shows how much the city leans on the county. Would Sydney Gruel please come forward? Hi, Sydney.
Hello.
What I have for you, if I can get it open, I just pulled it out. Cindy Gruel, and I'll just read it. In recognition of her exemplary leadership and commitment to public health during the Legionella outbreak of 2025, her professionalism and collaborative spirit were instrumental in safeguarding the public health of our community and upholding the public trust. I'd like to give this to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You have no idea how much we appreciate you and your work.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
She was climbing the tower. She probably did as many TV interviews as you wanted to do, which nobody likes to do, trust
No.
me. And somewhat as a one-person band taking care of it, you not only did your job, you did it well.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Do you want to speak, Sydney? Now, this is a surprise to Sydney.
Yeah,
So we
had no
kind of
idea.
kept this as a surprise for her.
Yeah, thank you so much. We all know Legionella was hard. on everybody, just like, natural disasters are on everybody, and it speaks to the collaboration of Marshall County and the city of Marshalltown. And, we not only want to move forward from it, but, we've educated other entities and other counties across the state, as well as, federal partners, about how we move forward and how they can look to their own Legionella response. There's already been other counties and communities that have practiced in preparation for it. So I look forward to the opportunity to educate other people, as well as, hope that they never have to experience something like this. But it's a pleasure to have grown up here in Marshalltown and stay continued to serve Marshalltown and its people and Marshall County.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Christian, congratulations on your appointment. I'll leave you my card in case you want to complain about Carol or Jared.
Perfect. Too early to say,
Can't do
yeah.
anything about it, but I'll listen. Okay?
All right, I look forward to it.
As far as the EMS, I believe the supervisors will be getting email today, tomorrow, so we can have a city-county meeting to get together. I believe that'll be in late March. Okay?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. On to 6B.
Well, I would echo congrats to Sydney and welcome Christian. It's fun for me to get to see some of our younger people taking leadership positions in the community, and these two I've known, well, they were smaller than me to start. That's a statement. Christian, your dad would be tremendously proud, and welcome. We're glad to have you. I think you'll do a great job.
Bobby, can I just, Sydney, I know you've got another meeting to go to, so you feel free to step out anytime. Thank you for making the time to come.
Thanks,
I
Karen.
prefer you stay and listen to me first. No. Thanks, Sydney. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wanted to do just a short follow-up from Dean Shady's visit representing our work comp carrier, IMWCA, and the safety efforts of our safety committee. I'd like to publicly acknowledge Nan and Cass especially for the tremendous job they've done in getting our safety committee up and running at a good clip compared to where we've been in the past. They're doing a great job, and I would also want to acknowledge our department heads for making that successful as well. I welcome Dean coming over to address the Board of Supervisors primarily because IMWCA is set up differently than a typical insurance carrier. So you get a modification factor, and that modification factor drives your work comp premium. An insurance carrier has some discretionary credits or debits they can put on, but IMWCA is set up very differently, where there are a ton of discretionary credits. And getting him in front of you put us in a better position to try to save some of those discretionary credits. So I thought bringing him over to have a voice was a good call. For me, what I want you guys to understand, a modification factor of 1.00 is considered average, not good or bad. And your modification factor presently is a 0.92. And after the bad of this year, we're going to have a 7-point swing to a 0.99. But I want to make sure the public and everyone else understands we're still better than average, right? We're still, our modification factor will be at 0.99 on renewal. So all Dean was trying to do was get in the front of a negative swing and make sure that we were addressing that in a positive way. My intent was to sit and listen to Dean. In fact, it was casual day at my office. I was in a T-shirt. I wasn't planning on getting up front. And that's the day you choose to take a picture and put it in the paper.
Ask Mike, you never know.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Yeah, you never know. The item on the agenda was specifically to talk about the safety committee as an integral part of what we do to protect the county's assets, both human and financial. The comments degenerated a bit into multiple claim formats, which is why I got involved in the question and answer session, and I don't know that I did a lot to help in the comments. So my comments at that meeting about multiple claim formats were intended to be industry specific, and referencing a very much in the past historical problem that Marshall County has had, and to acknowledge we're in a pretty good spot today. So even with what we're trying to deal with on the negative, our modification factor still is on the right side of a 1.0. So where it's a true statement that we currently have multiple employees who have filed multiple claims, that was not, in my opinion, the intent of the presentation, and not the issue that is significant to what we're dealing with in 2026. When I look, Nan and Cass and I have taken a deep dive into the multiple claims, and when you look at, from an insurance carrier perspective, an insurance carrier will tell you frequency breeds severity. So if you have a lot of claims, eventually one's going to bite you in the butt, is what they would say. That isn't what the statistics bear out as we look at those. Now, our multiple claim formats typically come in one of two departments, the Sheriff's Department and the Secondary Roads Department. That isn't because those departments are less safe than other departments. It's that our Sheriff's Department works 24/7, 365 days a week, and they don't always work with happy people. So a lot of our claims come from inmates that are very hostile, and our deputies are dealing with those hostilities. And even the deputies that have had multiple claims, if you look through them, the severities are stitches, treated and released, checked out by a medical doctor, with no indemnity, no lost wages. And that's the big impact for us. When an employee loses time off work, all the medical specials go against your mod on a 1-for-1 basis. When there's no indemnity paid, they go in on a 25%. So when I look at most of the claims dealing with multiple claims, it's not problematic. So to leave the last meeting believing that the county has an issue with multiple claim formats was an overstatement. And I want to make sure that we acknowledge that our modification factor is still in a good spot. Secondary roads is a very similar story. A lot of those people are working in jobs that have a little bit more risk, and they're working on stuff where accidents happen. I find that it's a good business practice for IMWCA and Marshall County to try to minimize claims where we can, protect the safety of our employees, and having an agenda item to address the work of the safety committee was a really good idea. But the degeneration into a discussion on multiple claims really wasn't necessary or needed, and I think placed some undue stress on some of our department heads that really wasn't warranted. And I'm here to publicly defend them and say that our department heads are doing a really, really good job and committed to safety, and our modification factor acknowledges that, even at a 0.99 coming up in this renewal. All right?
Yeah, we appreciate the clarification.
Sure. Any questions for me? I was happy to be on the public where you didn't have to add me as agenda item, so.
Well, thanks for being here on this. I know when I had never been on the safety committee, and I got to sit on that meeting, and there was a lot of really good discussion. I was very impressed and pleased with how our department heads and elected officials are very active on it. In that one meeting I got to go to, and the discussion of this was brought up, and making sure that we're creating a safe climate, and that they're putting the steps in place to prevent any accident of any sorts, but as most especially any reoccurring offenses. And the consensus was these were problems of the past. This isn't it's a problem that we've gotten ahead of, and so we appreciate that you were able to clarify that, because there was that little confusion in the room on that.
Agreed.
And so, but I'm very pleased to see how our safety committee is
Safety
operating.
committee's doing a really good job. And again, special kudos to Nan and Cass. They're
Yep.
doing an exceptional job.
Yes, so thank you very much, and I do appreciate you being here, because the clarification need to be had. We don't have that environment now where I feel like folks are using the system. I had a little bit of that feeling maybe when I started. Now, no. We have great department heads participating. Everybody wants to be safe. Nobody wants to get hurt, and they don't want their coworkers hurt. So I feel really good about where we are and where we're looking to move forward. There'll be more to come.
Any other comment?
Just thank you, Cass, too, 'cause she's had a lot of fun with safety. She's enjoyed it tremendously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right, number 7, approval of engineering services contract with Calhoun Burns and Associates for Bridge P07 on 290th Street over Lutz Creek, and authorize the chair to sign.
Paul Islandfeld, County Engineer. I can talk a little about these bridges.
Contract.
We're gonna bring up the aerial on where it is. Both of these bridges are west of Ferguson. And P7 is the one on 290th Street. The tough thing is that this bridge was built in 1982. So, I mean, it's 44 years old, which that's not, we expect a pre-stressed concrete bridge to live a lot longer than that. This bridge, in fact, you can even see on that aerial, there's been some patches, and some of those patches were, and it was 5-6 years ago at least, were full depth patches, which that means you walk up to the bridge and you see reinforcing steel and you see what's under the bridge. And that isn't something you ever want to see. But the main thing is the bridge really wasn't, it wasn't really designed for the loadings that the quarry's going to put on it, and it gets heavies every day during the construction season, and heavies most days not during the construction season if the quarry's open. And you can see that it's only 24 feet wide, so geometrically it doesn't do us any favors either. So it was designed for the time that it was in. It was a standard design, but it also looks like it has some issues with the concrete cover, which is the amount of concrete that is outside of the steel, between the steel and the surface of the bridge, and that also helps cause pieces to want to come off when they get the heavies that cause the movement in the bridge. You know, when if you were interested in seeing how much it moves, you could try standing on it when a loaded truck goes across, but it's not wide enough to do that safely, so don't do that. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because it really is a bridge that should have lived longer than this.
Okay.
Any questions for Paul?
When this bridge was built, was the quarry there? Because I feel like
Yes.
that's probably, did they take into account?
It
The
was there,
actuality.
and like I said, it's a standard bridge.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the repeated stresses that it gets from being one of two main routes to get
Yeah.
to and from the quarry. I don't ever specify 24-foot wide bridges anywhere in our bridge replacement now. It's just to me, it's just a safety issue, and it makes the bridge a little bit cheaper. Past engineering would do a 24-foot wide bridge because it would save you from having to buy right-of-way on that construction project, because by the time you put the guardrail out there and you build the blisters for the guardrail, you need another 20 feet of right-of-way on both sides, so that makes things a little more costly.
I guess I have some personal experience with this bridge because I'm a truck driver myself, and this is one bridge that I find notable. I won't go over that bridge with another truck because of how narrow it is.
Thank you.
And I think it probably, it does. I've thought about it because I see how much quarry traffic goes across it, and how much with Key Co-op over there. I think it's Heartland actually, but it's a heavy use bridge for the area. So.
And it's also a difficult puzzle on the detour when we're building it, because the short detour I think is 5.5 miles, and if you go north it's even worse. So it's just it's a key bridge that we need to get it replaced, and it will be rebuilt to a higher standard.
So, Paul, this is for engineering service. What's your timeline for replacement?
I think we're programmed for 27 work right now. So it's just a matter of if we can get the the engineering to get through. It may be 28 construction season. We're still working on the program right now.
Okay. Okay.
It's not currently embargoed at all, is it?
No, it's posted narrow, but we do not, we get a lot of requests for for oversized overweight permits, and we don't route overweight on this bridge. It's strictly what's the 80,000
Yep.
is where we limit it.
Notwithstanding the new 90,000.
Correct. And if the engineers, if our inspection firm recommends, we may have to post it 40 tons.
Yeah.
We haven't currently done the 40-ton posting, but we never used to have to post 40 tons because the regular legal load was 40 tons. But
Right.
now that there's, this unknown thing called harvest happens like every year. And
That's every year.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I will make a motion to approve the engineering services contract, excuse me, with Calhoun Burns and Associates for Bridge P07 on 290th Street over Lutz Creek, and authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second that.
All right, we have the motion and the second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
All right, number 8, approval of engineering services contract with Calhoun Burns and Associates on Bridge P8 on Taylor Avenue over Lutz Creek, and authorize the chair to sign.
this bridge, as you can see, it's very close to P7, and it's just off of Taylor, just south of 290th. And it is posted, I think, 24 tons. It's going to be part of the staging too, because of when we're constructing P7, we're going to probably need to include this route in the detour. And that bridge doesn't look as shiny, and it's like 90 years old. But it has, reached where we need to get that upgraded and replace it. It's the same creek, I think, as the bridge that's on 290th, but it's just a standard I-beam timber deck bridge, and it will be a reinforced concrete 100-year bridge as well.
Okay.
Looks like 22 tons is, well, yeah, 22.
Okay. Same timeline?
Yeah, it's going to be a staging thing, because I
Yeah.
think we're going to have to build this one before we build P7, just because of the needs for a detour.
Yeah. Okay. I will make the motion to approve the engineering services contract with Calhoun Burns and Associates for Bridge P08 on Taylor Avenue over Lutz Creek, and authorize the chair to sign.
Second that motion.
Motion and the second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
Christian, look forward to working with you.
Same.
I see you have a full head of hair and no gray.
So far, it's getting worse every day.
I'm
man.
confident we can fix that.
Thank you. That's what everybody says. We'll see.
All right. On to number 9, approval of the rezoning request claim 2026 ZON 6033.
Tyler Kelly, Marsh County Planning and Zoning. So this request came to us via a Plata survey that was submitted. The landowner across the road from this property was looking to buy the bin site. When reviewing it as part of our survey review through Marshall County, I realized that this property was zoned incorrectly. This was obviously an oversight when they rezoned all the mine property. This agriculture residence or ag residence was included in that U1 rezoning. So what this is this is a request to rezone that ag residence and the building site from U1 to A1 agricultural residence. U1 has limited uses, including year-round occupancy. So as the property lies right now in its current zoning, it shouldn't be lived in. The U1 zoning is mainly for our natural areas, our mining operations, some floodplain areas. That's what that designated zoning is for. So that is the request. Do you have any questions?
No? All right, is there a motion to approve the rezoning request?
I will make the motion to approve the rezoning request number 2026, CON 6033.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and the second. Is there any further discussion? Thank you, Tyler. Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
All right, on to number 10, approve 28E agreement with the City of Marshtown and authorize the county attorney and sheriff to sign.
Good morning, Jordan Gaffney, Marshall County Attorney. So this 28E agreement is the product of collaboration between our office and the City of Marshalltown and a lot of other law enforcement agencies. It addresses really the rising need and rising costs for criminal justice tools. More and more in cases, we're seeing that the contents of someone's cell phone, whether we look at it through consent or a search warrant, tells us a lot about a crime, messages, location, information, phone call history, that kind of thing. And as the technology has advanced, so too has our need to access this technology. It helps us to ensure that we're putting in our best for crime victims. It allows us to ensure the integrity of our information in our investigations by giving us different data points to cross-reference. And it ultimately is extremely useful for both law enforcement and in criminal prosecutions. Unfortunately, as we've used this technology more and more, so too have the costs. The costs have risen too. This agreement is a multi-agency agreement for cost sharing and information access to Cellbrite and Axiom phone extraction and analysis equipment. Put simply, if we get consent or search warrant to search a phone, we can plug the phone into the software and download some of the contents of that phone and review that for evidence. The idea is that for frequent users, we can get everybody's costs down so that everybody has better access to this equipment by sharing costs and sharing equipment. This agreement is just for 1 year. Coming into the discussion process, the thought was, hey, let's give this 1 year and see how things go before we think about future years. Our office and our office and the sheriff's office would each chip in $1,500 for the year. I would pay my $1,500 out of our collections fund, out of the revenue we generate there, so that there would not be additional burden to the taxpayers. Do you guys have any questions?
Have all others signed on or likely in process?
It's in the process,
Yep.
so different county boards of supervisors, city councils are looking at it too. They'll have to review it too, but it's in the process, and thus far, I don't believe we've hit any snags.
I assume this is happening around the state as well?
I don't know
or-
that it's happening around the state, but this was something that, when you look at the aggregate total, we're talking, almost $40,000 for this kind of software
Yeah.
for both of it. So it's a huge expense, and we use the software frequently. I haven't tried a major case without using this kind of technology in a long time. So
Yeah.
you kind of see the value in it and how important it is.
Oh, yeah. I would be surprised if it's not happening around the state.
It's smart to just pool your resources together and everybody, lifts each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, any further questions? Their motion to approve the agreement?
I motion to the 2080 agreement with the City of Marshtown and authorize the county attorney to sheriff to sign.
I'll second that.
All right, we have the motion and the second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
All right, now on to number 11. Resolution 2026-9, Compensation Board Compensation Schedule for Elected Officials. I see we have Mark Eaton here, a member of the Compensation Board. Is there any comments you have for us today?
Thanks for the opportunity. Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue. I am the representative for the sheriff. There's the compensation board, with changes in the laws over the last few years, has gotten a bit easier to do, a lot less contentious, which is good. And I think the meeting went smoothly. We only needed one vote to get it done. All the representatives do their due diligence and research. And thanks to the IT department, we get a good big packet worth of statistics to use, and it's very helpful. I'll speak basically. So in general, I recommend that you accept this. As always, we are conscious as representatives of, the burdens that we don't want to put onto the taxpayer, right? And we also are conscious that you have trade-offs as supervisors with goals and things like that. But the law surrounding the sheriff's department says that we need to keep their sheriff commensurate with similar cities and counties, and so there's a spreadsheet that I do every year that shows the statistics. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to skip over you, Chris, but I was
That's all right.
standing right there.
It's okay.
My brakes didn't work soon enough. And we need to keep the sheriff commensurate with other counties, and so I try to keep the sheriff's office in the middle of a pack of 10 similar counties, population-wise. The sheriff is currently a little under the pay of the Marshalltown City Police Chief, and the other burden that we have pressing on us is that there's a union negotiation that bumps all of the non-union wages up 4% this year, or this coming year. And so I basically asked for 4% for the sheriff to maintain and avoid that wage compression, which we've been fighting for as long as I've been standing up here. And so I think this is a good recommendation. Overall, I think the increase, including all the other employees that are tied to the elected officials, is approximately $45,000 increase with benefits and wages. And I think we can absorb that with the increase in valuations. And I know you have some downward pressure from the state, but I think it's everyone put out a fair increase. But I think the sheriff, that's a fair increase in it, and it aligns with the goals of keeping everybody even and keeping us in the middle of the pack as we do every year. I know you can decide individually on all the others as well, and that's helped with the negotiations, because we've never, in the past, we've had problems where we've had some office that needed to get a large increase, and you might want to cut that down, and that would force you to cut down people with lower increases, and that always made a fight. And now that's not. You guys get to do it individually. So I guess that's all. If you got any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer.
Well, thanks for your thoroughness. That's very important to have as a compensation board, not just you, but all the members. And I think, like you said, there can be a fight with compensation boards and then between boards of supervisors. And I think that's where the original legislation got put forward, because there was just a lot of friction between it. But even prior to the law change, I don't think we saw a lot of friction. I mean, I think if there was a mutual understanding what boards of supervisors had to do or were bound to do by the code, but.
Well, you didn't see it.
Yeah, I know, I know. I didn't have to. But I think this compensation board works really well, and there's a good mutual respect between the boards that I think makes this work out well. Because obviously when we're talking about the pay of elected officials, it's our pay too as supervisors, and so it's always kind of an uncomfortable subject, but it's the requirement by the law that we have to do. So it's important that we have you guys do the work that you do on it, and I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think it really helps to have the flexibility now that we have to,
Yeah.
make it.
I'd like to
decision.
point out, and I didn't realize that, and you guys have the packet there, I think was attached too, but I didn't realize our county attorney was that far behind our neighboring counties. So that one's, was something I hadn't noticed. So do want to point that out too, to make sure on that, that's,
Yeah, the three tough ones, we can't, I mean, the county attorney is as important as the sheriff in the field of the law, and technically the chief law and, enforcement, and we have a combined role in the auditor, recorder, and those are the tough ones that we need to, stay on top of and kind of adjust accordingly. I think we've done a good job getting the treasurer's department up there over the last couple of years. And as I'm pointing out, we're conscious of the impact on the budget, and we don't ask for more than, we think is a fair. So.
besides those elected officials that are listed there, which of course it's 3 supervisor positions, but it's 3 additional positions with 2 deputies that are tied to the sheriff and 1 in the county attorney's office. So it's 3 additional people when he quotes the $45,000.
And that's why in the sheriff's department, it's really hard, it's really important to maintain that.
So you don't get compression.
We don't need that wage compression to fight against. And all the talk today has been about all the legal challenges that we have in the area, and so, and they do earn, in my opinion, their wages, so.
We appreciate all the work.
Thank you.
That you guys do.
Thank you.
And the information you get from the IT department there.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Yep, that is very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, thanks to Nan and Cass again for all they do on helping facilitate that compensation board meeting.
Yeah, coordinating schedules.
Yes, that was Cass, trying to get everybody there.
Is there any other comment from the public on this? Thank you, Ben.
Ben Brin, Chief Deputy of the Sheriff's Office. I'm one of those folks that are talking about that kind of falls in line with the sheriff. First of all, I want to thank Mark and the rest of the compensation board. They do hard work every year. For those that don't understand how that process works, it's not like buying a car where you go find a car with the same options on 4 different dealerships and you compare the price. You're not comparing apples to apples. You're trying to figure variable positions, variable size counties, different roles, different responsibilities, different amounts of personnel they supervise. So it is a lot of hard work. It's not as simple as just looking at it's cost this here, and this here. We should be here. It's not that simple. They do a lot of work and do that math to make that work out. This is old news for most of those folks in the room, but I do want to share a little bit of insight with Christian because he is new to this, and I'm sure he's probably feeling like he's drinking from a fire hose this morning
I
already.
expected that.
But
Thank you.
Mark did a good job explaining. I can only talk in detail about the sheriff's office. That's what I'm most familiar with. And my role as chief deputy, my salary is tied by the Iowa code to the sheriff's salary. Mark explained already the union contract for the next 2 years will be a 4% increase with union deputies. So I think it's important that we stay with that 4% recommendation in order to alleviate that wage compression between myself, the jail administrator, anyone else who's tied into that sheriff's salary.
Ben, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So your deputies and your union employees, how do you feel about where they are in our competition for personnel?
We are still struggling to recruit and retain. Actually, we've done a good job retaining, but recruitment's still difficult. It's a very competitive environment right now in law enforcement. Probably a lot of jobs in general are hard to recruit people at this time. We're close enough to the metro area where we're not in the metro, but we compete with them because a lot of those metro agencies, if you can live here and work in the metro, if you don't mind that commute, you can go down there and make considerably more money doing essentially the same job. So we're always struggling to try and compete with that, but we don't have the tax base or the resources that Polk County does or Story County. So we're always kind of behind the eight ball, and I think it's important to try and keep our folks up best we can to be competitive in that job market. So the other part about the salaries that is important is, as a supervisor, we want to make sure we have, Mark talked about the wage compression. We have a lot of people who we want to put in leadership positions. Those leadership positions, there's only so much room in there between that salary of a top deputy and a chief deputy like myself or the sheriff. When I first started this position, I actually took a pay cut for the extra responsibility. That was hard to do. You do it because it's the right thing to do. However, that's really hard to do that, to take on the extra responsibility, the liability, the exposure, the phone calls. To do that, we've done a great job over the last probably 6 or 7 years widening that gap out, and that's why I think it's very important to maintain that, to keep that, because we want people. I'm not going to be here forever, and we have to think about, and it's been mentioned before, it's not the person, it's the position. Whether it's the sheriff, the auditor, the recorder, all these people will be replaced by somebody else down the road. We want people to be willing to take those roles and the responsibilities without saying, that's just not worth it. And having good leadership in those roles is very important. Supervisors and those people in those positions make a direct impact on their employees and the public that we all serve. So it's very important that we do a good job of getting those people in those positions and keeping them there and encouraging people to come to those positions. We've had conversations with folks at the sheriff's office over the years. A lot of people have really passed up promotional opportunities at the time because it didn't make sense financially. I think we're doing a lot better now. The compensation board has done a lot of hard work. The board's done a lot of hard work to get us there. And I just really encourage you guys to follow the recommendations to keep us on that right track. Does anyone have any questions for me?
No, just thank you for explaining this a little bit, because it does feel like drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
That might get worse before it gets better, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's all right.
Any other comment from the public?
Motion to adopt Resolution 2026-009, County Compensation Board Compensation Schedule for Elected Officials. So,
And do you know what the schedule is going to be? Do you know the recommendation? Is that what you're making the motion for? Or?
I probably just screwed this up.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can discuss more and seeing what we want that schedule to be.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I know what we did with our non-union employees in the budget planning was knowing that things could be tight, direction from the state, wanting us to stay within that 2% revenue growth. Our growth model that we have right now is we had 2.98% for our valuation growth. And so we had told employees 2%. Right now, in our process of still working through our budget meetings, we have penciled in 3% for our non-union employees. So I think it's important to note that to have consistency what we're doing. We want to keep that in mind on this decision. Me personally, I'd be comfortable of having, to prevent that compression, having the sheriff at 4% and the others at 3%, but that's just a thought I'm having to start discussion with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead, Rhonda.
Rhonda Broaddus, 911 Director for Marshall County. I just wanted to say, while you're making these decisions, in my position, I work with obviously all of emergency services in Marshall County. One thing that I ask is that we look at the positions itself. I completely understand the difference between obviously union, non-union. I've been in this field for over a couple of decades. But I want us to think about the job in specific. I work with the deputies and the sheriff on a daily basis, and they are not office dwellers. I have to be very, very clear. They're not office dwellers. They go out, they go to the calls, they put themselves in danger just like everyone else. And it's really important to be able to take that into consideration versus, and I'm not diminishing at all in any way, shape, or form any other non-union or civilian member, but when it comes to law enforcement and putting your life on the line, I would just like that to be a consideration when you're making these. Thank you.
Thanks, Rhonda.
If you would, I don't know if you have that document that James prepared, and take a look at, like I said, Jordan Gaffney is, you know, you think about him being the number one lucky person that is the leader here of our law enforcement, along with the sheriff. Obviously, they work in tandem.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised how low he was in comparison.
And his first assistant is tied.
Yes, so that's the third person. So it's two there, and then his first assistant. So that's the, so Keo Kiefer is the first assistant there in that department.
Could I speak about that a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Because I might have some questions
No,
on
come on,
this
Mark.
too.
While you're coming up, Nan, can you remind me, I thought I told it about that one time, but the dollar difference between what's recommended and the current, the total of all the,
The 45,000 is the increase.
of all those
Of the
positions
elected-
together,
Elected plus the three people that are tied.
plus the three. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to.
Per
make
the
sure.
comp board's recommendation.
Yeah.
Yes, at the
If you-
current,
And-
the way it is
I'm
currently,
going current versus what's proposed with the three people.
with the three people.
Okay,
That
45.
increase is 45.
Okay.
Oh, from what the supervisor,
Yes, that includes the three, three supervisor positions. You only see one
Yeah.
listed there, but we took it times three, that increase.
Yeah,
2%.
yeah.
And then the
So that-
three deputies.
The
that are
dollar
tied.
amount we're talking about in this recommendation right now is 45,000.
Correct,
That's what I wanted to be clear on.
yes.
can I ask James to bring this little stat up for the attorney?
Yes.
Just so, what he's gonna bring up is we get this packet, and it has all the stats for all the elected officials, for all the counties, all 99 of them in Iowa. And down at the bottom, you'll see we kind of have groups, continuous counties, population peers, valuation, so property valuations, tax revenue, and levy rate peers. Okay, on the levy rate, we're the highest, our attorney's salary ranks the highest among those, but every one of those other 4 to 5 counties have populations around 10,000. We are 30, 40, 40,000. So naturally, we should rank at the top in that last box, pretty much on all of them, because all of the counties that have the same levy rate as us have a quarter of the population. So that's what's, so I kind of take that one and go throw that off the chart, and then I go look at the other ones, and I think for you guys that got this little packet for the sheriff, if you go, there's a second page, and I have the populations below each of the counties. So you can kind of see, okay, well, if we go back to the continuous peers and we say, okay, we're kind of under what Jasper's paying for their attorney. Well, Jasper's population is slightly less than ours, so we kind of should swap to be apples to apples. And so those are kind of and from population on the attorney, we're quite low when we rank across population. And if you think of population as maybe the potential for crime, we're kind of on the bottom. We should be more in the middle, right? And so that's why the compensation board recommended the increase for the sheriff that they did. I think that was 5%.
For the attorney, you mean?
For the attorney, sorry.
Yeah.
6%.
6%.
We did
And that-
6 for, yeah, 6
Yeah,
for.
and so that's why,
And Jasper County's at 38,000. It was a little bit larger than I thought it was, so it's very close.
right. But again, and so if we swapped rankings with Jasper, in our minds, that's not the bad thing. We should do that if we're talking about from an office standpoint. And I think Marshall County has an additional burden on it. If you listen to Senator Grassley of our propensity to have 3 cartels in the neighborhood, that makes a little more work for the law enforcement arm. And so that's how we came to that. I hope that helps.
Oh, yes, please.
We hear a lot in the public, people look at law enforcement and say, are we taking criminals off the streets, doing our job? Oftentimes what's forgotten is the county attorney's office is really all that matters in the big picture of enforcing laws. We arrest people, and that's really not the end of our involvement, but the rest of it is really upon the prosecution to get successful convictions of those people we take off the streets. So, we talked a lot about the importance of law enforcement's role, and it is important. However, the backside of the process with Jordan's office, his staff, his assistants, is critical in finishing up the work that we start. So a lot of the points I brought up with the law enforcement and the sheriff's office, having the right staff in the right positions to finish that job is very important. With him having an assistant that's tied to his salary as well, they also are going to be battling that wage compression issue as well, just like we are. It's important to keep, the whole process in mind as we're doing this. I think we focused a lot on what we do on the front side, which is important. However, we can file whatever charge we want. It's on their office to finish up that case. So they are actually more important in the process than we are when it comes down to it. They're not out there taking bullets, but they are actually doing all the hard work behind the scenes. So, thank you.
I just sent you an email. I don't have Christian's yet, but it's 44,779 is the, it's a
Difference.
little under 45. Mark likes to round. He doesn't like pennies either.
Well, just for historical purposes, in the last 3 years, since we've been on the board, our treasurer has gone from 51st ranking to 23rd in the state, and we're also the 15th largest county. I think that's important to note. The supervisors have gone from 30th to 18th. Sheriff's gone from 42nd to 20th. Our attorney's gone from 32nd to 25th. Auditor recorder obviously gets an asterisk next to it because it's a combined duty, but just for the sake of argument, auditor went from 21 to 13th. Mind you, that's different because it's one of the two in the state that's different. So that's just for note that, and I believe, did we accept the recommendations all the last 3 years that have been brought to us? I believe that's what we've
I
done.
believe so.
And so we've made some good strides to get things competitive here. And I think that's probably why in the recommendations, we're not seeing any, there's some double-digit recommendations in previous years that we needed to do to adjust, and those aren't there this year. Thoughts, Carol?
Well, it's probably in here because I was looking through it, but if we go with this recommendation, what ranking do we end up with in county attorney? Do you know, Mark? Yeah,
Well, we wouldn't know,
population-wise, you know,
they'll be making, they'll be making their adjustments too, so
Yeah.
we know that, obviously.
based on this year's salaries, if we were to, knowing that they'll also be increasing? I mean, because again, I have been supportive of getting us in the range of where we are as a county in the state as well.
So if you go, I don't know the total ranking like for the whole county, but if you go back to this sheet right here with
Yeah, on the attorney.
yeah. And based on that recommendation, we're going to get up, over Jasper County. So you can see in population, it's going to move us up a couple of places. In valuation, it's going to move us up about 3 places, more to the middle line. So do you see that?
Yeah, I'm getting back up to
So-
the county attorney. Yeah.
So this valuation here, so Jasper County is slightly smaller than us. So if we move like revenue peers, if we move, we're gonna move above Jasper County, so we're gonna be closer to this average
yep.
line. And in pretty much all the graphs, you're gonna move up closer. Obviously, in contiguous peers, we're gonna be a little higher than Jasper County, but by population, that's really where,
Yeah, what we're looking at.
yeah.
I've opened this thing 3 times now. It's that one. Well, another factor for me is who are we competing against? If we're competing against the metro area for qualified people, then, the population one doesn't really apply. Although it's, in my opinion, an important filter to look through.
I do know in the past, the county attorney's office has lost, attorneys to Story County. And, logistically due to other reasons, but that was, I think, pretty much for money. I think there might have been one in the past that went to the Des Moines area. Here recently, since Jordan's been the county attorney. So it's a competitive area there.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Carol?
I do have thoughts, but, we're in the middle of trying to finalize budget, and we are looking at, 2.8% growth in the
2.98.
2.98%, rounding up to 3% growth. So You know, I'm trying to balance, how do we prioritize what we've tried to prioritize in the last few years is keeping our people in a competitive range for the size of county that we are and the work that they do. And still, I mean, so it means prioritizing over other things then, you know, in the budget process. So that's the balance. I guess if I were to start somewhere, I would look at maybe, except for us, going 4%, except for us,
Then having the board at what?
2, or less, 2, but, you know, maybe leaving the board's recommendation and then going 4% on the others. Unless you want to do each individually.
Just for discussion argument's sake, I mean, I'm kind of going back to what I was thinking beforehand. We've made good strides. I worry about the union compression of the sheriff's office, so I'm comfortable with the 4 there. I like the consistency of what we're trying to do with all the non-union employees, and that we're at 3% right now with that, so I'd like to see 3% for the others. And then 2 or even down to 1% for us as supervisors, if that's palatable. But I mean, that's my line of thinking, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we have to go with. I'm one of 3 here. So
What you're saying is 3%?
3 for attorney, auditor, recorder, treasurer, 4 for the sheriff, 2 for the board.
I guess I would propose maybe 4% for the sheriff and the county attorney, then 3% on auditor, recorder, and treasurer, and 2 or 1 for us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of background information to work with other than
Yeah.
what I've heard today, but just knowing the importance of what Jordan does, I would probably agree with that.
That dollar amount is
Okay.
34,362. If you went 4 for county attorney, 3 auditor recorder, 4 sheriff, 2% for the 3 of you board of supervisors, 3% treasurer, and that also includes the 3 that are tied to that. So 34,362.
I like that motion if we adjust one thing. If we zero the board out with no raise for the board.
I'm
I
fine
would
with
go
that.
with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Let's get that number. That'd be exciting.
Okay.
31,524.
Okay, so you want me to
Now I
make that
need
as
the
a
official motion.
I will make the motion to amend the county compensation board schedule for elected officials to include a 4% increase for the county attorney and the county sheriff, a 3% for the auditor, recorder, and county treasurer, and 0% for the board of supervisors.
I'll second that.
All right, we have the motion and the second. And Nan, do you have that?
I do, so let me just repeat it.
Okay, thank you.
So 4% for county attorney and the sheriff, 3% auditor, recorder, and treasurer, and 0 for the board of supervisors.
Yes, all right, we have the motion, the second. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion from the board?
From the comp board? That's you, Mark.
every time I get up here, I say, people versus things. And I think I appreciate the supervisors going to taking zero increase. But I also think that, I don't know why change it? You're talking $10,000. If we don't have $10,000, we got issues. People over things.
Thanks, Mark.
$13,176 is what is being saved.
Okay.
It's not 10.
I like to round down.
I know you do.
No, I feel comfortable with this based on the ground that's been made up, trying to be consistent with county employees, and for that, allowing the attorney to go up for us going to zero to help pay for that, and I'm comfortable with that.
As an elected official, with me being at 13, and I know my position is different, but when get 3% for my employees, I feel better about being at 3% myself. That's a personal, when you're trying to hand out the increases, it just makes me feel better. So when we've got it cited and you're trying to work against, a union agreement and where Jordan's at, I think that is appropriate to do so like that. And I don't think their jobs are going to get any easier. Maybe.
Okay.
All right, any further last discussion? We have the motion, the second. Roll call, please.
Heil,
Yes.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
That's an interesting first meeting for you, Christian.
It really is.
I had no expectations. Right,
You
for
just
anything.
you just gave yourself no raise.
I was, yeah, just the way it is.
Day one.
Pretty much.
Set the tone, right?
All right, number 12. Thank you, everybody, for that discussion. Like I said, it's always odd when you're having to approve your own pay, your colleagues' pay, elected officials' pay. It's important to have good elected officials, and it's important to have compensated correctly. And it's not always the most enjoyable process, but thank you for all being a part of it. Number 12, Resolution 2026-10, preliminary and final plats for, help me pronounce that, Chiopretra?
What
Thank you.
was
It's
it?
a type of bat. So we're calling it the bat
Subdivision.
subdivision for those of us
I was
who can't
looking for the
pronounce it.
word bat, and it wasn't there. Subdivision.
You go for it, but look, I have some moral support right here in the first row, and they can happily help you, Tyler.
This was an enlightening experience for
It
everybody
was for
involved.
all of us.
So in Marshall County, when we split a parcel more than 2 times, we have to give consideration that we might have the person submit a subdivision plat. In this case, this property, all total was split up 7 different times. So we required CGA to submit a subdivision plat as part of this. Through the Marshall County platting and subdivision ordinance, there is a process outlined out with review considering several department heads and several discussions with the GIS department, the auditor recorder, the assessor's office, the conservation director, and me at planning and zoning, as well as secondary roads. So this plat is submitted to you today under all the guidelines and requirements that we require from the Marshall County platting and subdivision ordinance. Dan's here. He can talk a little bit about it if you guys would like.
Yeah. Dan was very helpful in this process as well from CGA, so.
It's one of my first subdivisions as well, so it's been an experience for me as well. Would you like to take
Yeah, if you have comment, please come on up for recording.
But yes, I'm Dan Matzinger, licensed surveyor with CGA Engineering. We were approached by Iowa National Heritage to split off this section of land south of Albion and south of the Iowa River. It was originally only supposed to be the area of Lot 1, was what Iowa National Heritage wanted to take possession of. But as part of it, they had future speculation for Marshall County Conservation Board to take possession of the area of Lot 3. And then Lot 2 was to be reserved for the original owner of the land, Mr. David Solo, for current and existing farm cropping operations, for him to continue to farm that area. The additional lots that you see on the plat along the Iowa River and along the old railroad area on the east side, those are established in order to transfer to adjacent landowners in order to clean up some of the boundaries. On the north line along the Iowa River, those lots, Lot 4 and Lot 5, those are essentially remnants that were left over from original surveys back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when the Iowa River did not have that straightened course. Those lines were meant to reflect meanders and oxbows and things like that that were in the course of the river at that time. When the river was straightened by the Corps of Engineers later in time, I think it was around the 1920s or 30s, those lines were never adjusted or interpreted. So we are now trying to reassert new lines along the center of the Iowa River in order to make the transfers of the lands and transfers to the adjacent owners easier, and for future ability to find the lines a little easier. It's also the same along the railroad line there. Some of the ownership of Mr. Solo is on the east side of the railroad, whereas his mass is on the west side. We are making lots in order to try to transfer the adjacent pieces of property to owners who are on the same sides of the railroad. And then the south lot, as you can see, if you go back to the plat, there is also considered an access lane that would be coming up along some of the existing town of Marietta's land. That would be for access into the Marshall County Conservation Land for a parking area and access lane to get back into it in the future.
Great.
So I have one question.
Yes.
For either Tyler or Emily. Is everyone happy with how this is configured now?
We have received no negative comment from the general public.
Zero comments.
I did make some calls out before the zoning commission meeting to the people of Marietta to kind of get the word out. And after the meeting, we received no negative comment, both during the meeting and before or after.
I can just say from the auditor's position, this plat really does help to clean up a lot, especially along the river and along the future bike path, the railroad.
Yeah.
It's going to make it easier for everyone by platting it the way they have.
Emily Herring, Marshall County Conservation Director. The whole point, a lot of this process, and I was working with INH on it, was to keep the farmland. And so that if you were to pull up the aerial photograph and look at the plot, the area that's cut out of the middle is farmland, but the other places are already in CRP, and they're areas that are commonly wet and flooded because of where they are located. So it is kind of, obviously, it was kind of a messy process. It wasn't the easiest, but in the end, it's the best. We feel it's the best uses for the lands that's there, and it'll add addition. It's already planted to prairie in our area, and then INHF will own the top half, and that will be part of bat mitigation. So that's why it's called Chiroptera, which is the scientific name for the bat family. So, so that's the whole thing. And that access lane will allow people to go back and hunt that area. And I was actually talking to Ben beforehand, and he made a comment about how it could also be a possible access to the bike trail if emergency people need to get in there too. So, didn't think about that. It's a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, the public got a good look at the inside of the sausage making of all of this, because this is a lot of pieces of a lot of players of our Marshall County government working at just to do this simple project, and therefore it means it's not that simple, but it can appear that way when you don't know all this. So thank you for everyone doing your part on this.
You can do the motion and pronounce the name.
I'll do my best here. I motion to adopt Resolution 2026-0010, preliminary and final plats of Chaptra subdivision.
I'll second that.
All right, we have the motion, the second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heil.
Yes.
Hibbs.
Yes.
Vindman.
Number 13, discussion and possible action to approve previously discussed added services for the jail sheriff office, ARPA emergency exit stairwell.
Morning, Lucas Badke, Buildings and Grounds. I have not heard anything on this from OPN since our last meeting, so
Okay.
I think at this time we just take it off the agenda, and when we hear something, we'll talk about it at that point.
Sounds good.
Maybe it just goes away.
Thanks, Lucas.
Maybe.
I'm glad you sat all through this meeting for that for us. All right, no action on 13. To number 14, public forum, time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum. Harold.
Harold Lanning, 1994 Vine Avenue, Marshalltown. First off, I want to address sorrow for your loss of your father.
Thank you.
And congratulations or condolences to you on your appointment. I don't know which on that.
Both are appropriate. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I do want to comment or ask about, in the paper last night, about your appointment and so forth. And as I see your youth, I see why. You have a trucking business, you truck cattle, seed corn, flatbed for Menards, and farming. And there was one paragraph in the article that kind of, I'd like to have you help me understand, okay? And I'm just reading it from what the paper was, is Goodman says he plans to be present in his new office as time allows and looks forward to hearing from his constituents. The part I'm concerned about is as time allows. What does that mean? Does that mean that these other things are going to be secondary and this will be primary, or vice versa?
No, my other, the trucking is flexible enough that my plan is to have kind of a set office hours throughout the week.
Okay.
So that if somebody wants to come visit with me, they would expect to see me there. And so I don't have that set yet, but as much, especially up front here, learning, I plan to be in there a couple times a week or whatever, as I discussed with the others, what they try to do. And initially here and going forward, I want to put as much time as I can into the office so that when somebody shows up and has concerns or wants to talk, somebody's available. The trucking, obviously, like I'm busier during the summer. Wintertime is very slow for me. And then depending on what happens with our farming operation, spring and fall would be the busy times.
Okay.
But I would definitely like to allocate at least some time to be here. And, we've got all kinds of resources. If there's a way that I could let everybody know when I'll be there so that if they have something, they can come in and know that I'll be there.
Okay.
This was something that was brought up during the interview, that there was some concern about, being present in the office. And so I take that seriously, and I do plan to be in the office as much as time allows, which is, it's more than what you would think. So a couple hours a week at least, probably, maybe more than that, I hope. But is there a way that I could let you know personally when I'll be in there?
No, you don't have to do that, but it just says as time allows.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, what does that mean? Is this
Yeah.
a primary function or a secondary or whatever?
Well, I think considering the role, I would say that this is kind of the primary thing, and the other stuff is flexible enough that I can work around this.
Okay. And I've been around these meetings enough and used to serve on the comp board and that. So it's I always kind of classified it as a part-time, full-time job. That's kind of what it, and that was the excuse we always used to hear, it's just part-time. But, you know, you've got meetings and commissions and boards that you serve and sit on, and so it's more than just being here for the meeting and
Oh, yeah.
making motions or voting and
Right.
so forth.
Right.
So,
Well, my other jobs are part-time, full-time jobs too, so they all work together, but this is the priority.
well, let me just say this in conclusion, I'm glad that you're here. I would like to see the youth, I mean, I've got quite a few years on you, so, yeah. One time when seniority, maybe that works against you, but I'm glad to see the youthfulness of you and so forth, and I wish you the very best, okay?
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Harold.
Well, I
And-
think what Jared and I know is it's really a 24/7 role because you're never really off duty. But with ways that we have now to communicate, it makes it much more flexible.
Jordan Gaffney, Marshall County Attorney. I kind of just wanted to share with the board and with the public some of the thought process that went behind the decision we made as a committee to appoint Christian. We received 9 applications to fill the vacancy after Kevin passed, and after one of those applicants withdrew from candidacy, we interviewed all remaining 8 applicants last week. And we were very impressed by every single candidate that we talked to. And every candidate really brought something unique and special to the table. The selection process was extremely competitive, and it was a tough choice for me, having one of 3 votes on the committee, and a tough choice for our committee. But we were unanimous in our decision, and Christian, you earned this appointment. With Christian having this role and having taken on this role, we will continue having a voice for agriculture in our community, and I think that's important in leadership in the county. We'll have another well-rounded individual sitting in one of these 3 seats on the board. You're a business operator, you've been a volunteer firefighter, and you gave really thoughtful answers on the questionnaire we asked every candidate to complete, and very thoughtful answers in your interview. Not just in that process, but your investigation process and the information gathering you did just to learn about what does a supervisor do, what does that look like, what are the issues in our community, and talking with business people and Steve Solosik, former Marshall County Supervisor as well. So Christian has my trust to be a leader in our community, and I'm confident that everybody in the county will see in you what I see in you. Thanks.
And I'll just reiterate what Jordan said. It was a very, it was a process I definitely did not want to go through, and I'm sorry about that, but I think we did end up with a very good option here. And like you said, Harold, way younger than us, so he's going to have endless energy.
Thank you.
But yes, you just did a few little extras that made a difference, because we did have great candidates. So it really makes me think that the June primary could be really interesting. So, but thank you for all the department's support here and getting all the information pulled together. And Deanne, it was great to work with you and Jordan as well. So I think we worked well together.
Any other further public comment today?
Paul Gallagher, County Engineer. I know it's day 1, but I just wanted to express the value of our department liaisons, and I was just curious if I was going to have the pleasure of having Christian be my secondary roads liaison, or if that's been discussed, or...
I don't know that it's been discussed, but after today's meeting, it seems like it would be a natural fit for
Yeah,
Christian.
It really does.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So I think for our next meeting, we'll make that official, but
Yeah, we can put that on the
We'll-
agenda and
we'll get that official. So that's likely going to happen unless something changes between now and then, but thank you
Excellent.
for that feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comment? All right, hearing none, off to adjournment. Next regular session is scheduled for Wednesday, February 25th, 9 a.m. at the courthouse first floor meeting room right here. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the Auditor Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors' Office via the Board Clerk by Wednesday, February 18th at noon. There being no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned at 10:29 a.m. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.